These men are harvesting tobacco in Southern Rhodesia. This country produces many other crops, some tropical, some temperate, such as apples, corn, oranges, barley, and cotton. How is this possible? Most of Southern Rhodesia is a plateau covered with grassland, which is called veld. Where it rises over 4,000 feet in height, it is called the high veld, or temperate grassland. The greater the altitude, the cooler the climate. Although the country lies within the tropics, both tropical and temperate crops can be grown. Since more rain falls on the high than on the low veld, the high veld is more suitable for growing commercial crops. In the high and cooler parts of the north, conditions are favorable for temperate fruits and grain. On the grassy plateau of the low veld, with its lower rainfall and greater heat, there is little commercial cultivation. The African farmers clear the land and plant corn, but crops are often poor for lack of rain. Corn, or mealie as it is often called, is pounded into flour. A kind of porridge made from this is the chief food of the African people. Cattle and other animals are reared, but through most of the year there is only poor grazing. On the plateau of the high veld, with its European population and heavier rainfall, food crops are extensively grown. Some of the land is farmed by the African farmers for their own needs and for the local market. But on larger farms, the European settler farmers have brought vast areas under the plow. The most important food crop is corn. Large quantities are produced every year. But even so, more and more is needed by the growing population. In the autumn, the crops of corn are ready for harvesting. Although a large part of the crops from the high veld are grown on small farms, many Africans spend a part of every year working on commercial farms owned by European farmers. The corn is removed from the cob by husking machines and poured into sacks to be stored away to supply the needs of the people. There is rarely much left over for export. The prosperity of Southern Rhodesia depends largely on its tobacco crop. Tobacco was grown by Africans before the Europeans came, but today some commercial plantations managed by Europeans on the high veld stretch almost as far as the eye can see. More and more tobacco seems to be grown each year, and it has taken the place of gold as the country's chief export. As the leaves ripen, they are picked by teams of laborers working between the rows. The tobacco grown today is of a much higher quality than before, and it has to go through various processes before it is matured and ready for export. After the leaves have been sorted and graded, they are taken away to be cured. Cotton is another important crop of the high veld. First, the cotton flowers appear, and then the ball forms. When this bursts open, the cotton is exposed, ready for picking. Cotton is grown both on large European plantations and on small African farms. Southern Rhodesia has her own cotton mill and exports cotton yarn, cloth, and clothing made from it. On the lower ground of the high veld, citrus fruits, such as oranges and lemons, are grown. Although in the east there is a sufficiently high winter rainfall for such fruit, the groves benefit by irrigation during a rather dry winter. Deciduous fruit trees, such as apples, grow well on land higher than 4,500 feet. At even greater heights, the climate suits other temperate crops, such as barley. Most of the rain that falls in southern Rhodesia comes in the southern summer months of December, January, February, and March. Then comes the autumn and winter with its drought. The veld is parched and dry in spring, when, with the coming of October, the first rain clouds may appear over the mountains. With the coming of the rains, pools and streams are filled and nature awakens. Of all the rain that falls, most is lost, much of it evaporating in the sun and heat. Some finds its way to the rivers and is carried away to the sea in foaming currents. Thousands of gallons of water pour every second over the Victoria Falls on the river Zambezi. Not all the rain goes to waste, and rivers have been dammed and reservoirs made to provide water for irrigating the land during the dry winter. Thus, on drier parts of the veld, better crops can be grown with a constant supply of water available for irrigation and other needs. Southern Rhodesia is separated from the Indian Ocean by Mozambique, and so most of her exports must pass through Portuguese territory by rail before being shipped from the ports of Barra and Lorenzo Marques. Some exports are sent southward to the ports in the Union of South Africa. Through the busy port of Barra passes most of the bulk exports of Southern Rhodesia, a country whose agriculture has become more important than the gold which first led white men to settle there. Mining, particularly of asbestos, chrome, and gold, is important, but it is the drums of tobacco on their way to Britain and other countries that represent the chief wealth of Southern Rhodesia.